You are listening to Moments Podcast with me, Shuang Cai. In this show, I am going to talk to artists, academics, industry practitioners, and entrepreneurs from a variety of backgrounds, each of whom is committed to imagining a better tomorrow and working to make it a reality. Some of their experiences are experimental, some are highly practical and ambitious. Most importantly, each dialogue is imaginative because we want to engage in dialogue with people from all over the world who are curious about life, to enjoy a moment together, to seize the moment, to seize eternity. Join me and these amazing people and their experienced life as it's meant to be lived. Hello everyone, welcome to Moments Podcast. Today we have Robert Ottawa, right?
Hello, and good afternoon, Xiang.
And I think this year, March, I've been to your podcast.
Yeah.
We Are FAB People, and today you're here.
Yeah.
Yahoo!
FAB People again.
Yes, exactly. And Robert, the official Warwick website describes you as follows. You are a National Teaching Award winner, recipient of the University of Warwick Teaching Excellence Award. Woohoo! And you hold a PGCE teaching qualification and also a software designer and programmer. Wow, a lot of titles. But beyond these credentials, how would you describe yourself to our listeners?
Okay. So, I thought long and hard about this, and a very simple answer. I'm an endlessly curious platypus. The look on your face.
Yeah.
An endlessly curious platypus. So the platypus bit, that's something actually in my teaching of design methods, design thinking, design research, etc. Quite often we have a platypus cuddly toy that was originally bought by Bo Kellerstein from the WBS, who I used to teach with. I also have a platypus t-shirt. Platypus is a very special animal in design. Okay, so platypus is a marsupial. Okay. No, it's not. That's completely wrong.
Okay. Never mind. Okay.
It's a monotreme. So it's not a marsupial. So it's a mammal that lays eggs.
Okay.
So it doesn't have a pouch, it lays eggs.
Yeah.
But it's a mammal. So not like a reptile, it's a mammal that lays eggs. And it has a duck bill. It's a bill that looks like a duck. It's got webbed feet, it's furry, it's got a kind of beavery kind of tail. And it's got the male has a venomous barb on its back. So it's all these weird bits that look like they don't go together.
Okay.
And probably shouldn't go together, but actually do. And the animal is perfectly adapted to its environment, its niche in the ecosystem. And amazing animals. Now, when they were first seen by Western scientists, early scientists in the 19th century, they thought it was a hoax. They couldn't believe it.
Okay.
In the same way as some people, managers with very narrow mindsets, not all managers have a narrow mindset, some of them do, and other people who are a bit narrow-minded, see what I do and what people like me do, they just can't believe it. Yeah. They can't believe that all those bits go together and work together.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like this is a lesson for inter or transdisciplinarity that's really important. But it's also the lesson is that the platypus of design thinking has evolved in the real world out there to deal with some very challenging situations, design challenges, by bringing all these bits together, working in harmony so well. Hooray!
Marvelous, marvelous.
So that's the story. That's the story I tell the students when we introduce the cuddly platypus to them.
And you've been here how many years?
Well, my first encounter with Warwick University was about 1987.
Oh my God.
So I was a young boy living the other side of Coventry, and it's fairly poor, and with a family who had no record of higher education, no relatives who'd been to university or knew anything about it. But I had a bicycle and some friends with bicycles, and back in those days it was much easier to cycle around.
Yeah.
And we just cycled and stumbled upon Warwick University.
Oh, that's your first time encountered?
Yeah.
Okay.
And liked it. I mean, there were...
But like your first year entered.
Okay. So, slow down. So I went to not a school that at the time, it's been rebuilt and it's good now, but it was terrible at the time, and didn't get particularly good grades or anything like that. So went on to college to retake exams, but also encountered kind of democratic socialism and politics and philosophy through some activities and locations in the city, which led me to embark on the lifelong learning courses that the university offered in philosophy. And we actually got to meet real philosophers. And I like that.
Like who?
So, I can't remember the names.
Nick Land.
Not quite Nick Land.
Okay.
And then actually retook A-levels at local colleges and did quite well, and somehow they let me in. I'm not sure if I should have been let in, but they did, and I studied philosophy from 91 to 94. Did start doing a PhD in philosophy, but kind of like wasn't exciting like some of the stuff I could do out in the real world.
Yeah.
And actually went on to train as a teacher and to study artificial intelligence at Sussex, and to do research and development in the very early lifelong learning at Oxford University, and then come back to here about 2001, and have done lots of exciting things ever since. So the moral of this story is philosopher who is interested in a lot of stuff and gets involved in things, and consequently has had 30 years of excitement and interest and meeting amazing people like you.
I would just clap my hands. I would say, wow, you almost spent half your life here, right?
Yeah, but it's not like it's a sedentary existence. Warwick changes so much, and there are so many different interesting people and opportunities.
People around me, or people on the social media, a lot of people there saying, okay, higher education nowadays is going to devalued for a long time. It kind of created a inflation of the higher education. As an educator, how would you respond to this?
Okay, so firstly, I don't think that increasing access to higher education, and hence the number of students participating, necessarily devalues it. It may devalue it in the context of higher education working in a specific way, a specific format, a specific business model, and we haven't really worked out necessarily how to do that. But we have to grow it. We absolutely have to grow it carefully so as to ensure quality of experience. It has in many ways grown too fast. Warwick, we've not been too bad at this, but then we're kind of in a better position in terms of funding, etc. But that might mean that we have to use very different models, away from the monastic model inherited from the medieval university and then adapted in the Enlightenment and through industrialization. We've still got that legacy. Lectures and lecture, seminar, that idea comes from the medieval university. And the actual physical conditions they were teaching under, where they had very few books. So the lecturer would actually stand at the front reading out a book, because they only had one copy of it. And then the students would copy it down. Crazy idea.
But nowadays, rather than reading the books out, but instead they prepare PowerPoint,
Yeah.
That's a similar idea, right?
I won't name names, but I have seen, not in this faculty, elsewhere, a lecture in which the lecturer read line by line for 2 hours from a PowerPoint. And every single student in the room copied down. And you're sitting there thinking, why did they not just give them the PowerPoint?
Really? They can just, the lecturer could just send the PowerPoint to the students.
Yeah, I'm not sure that kind of practice happens anymore. We're innovating very quickly, but we have to change.
Yeah.
Okay. And to do that change, we have to understand that there are different ways of doing this, different ways of doing higher education, different ways of teaching and learning, and actually make some conscious design choices to achieve our goals. And maybe even inventing entirely new models. But first, we need to know the design history. Like I've just done there and told you about the history of the lecture, and where that comes from, and kind of challenging by saying, okay, the conditions that created that design no longer apply. Okay, so we have to know that design history of our models and our institutions, how they came to be as they are, how that was formed by specific conditions at specific times, and then encoded into structures. For example, the lecture theatre, constraints imposed on the activities in those spaces. Now, I'm an external examiner for a different university, for the design courses at the Open University, which always was set up in the 1970s or late 60s as an innovator to be a very different model. Okay, that's an institution with a long history of inventing new models. The design academics, I do design courses at the OU, are still doing that today. They're innovating. They're trying to understand where education might go to address the OU's fundamental purpose and innovating. And the purpose is widening access to higher education and countering social division and inequality. But they're doing that in new ways, changing all the time. The latest stuff they're doing is in response to AI. Big work there, very interesting. So they've got no more, you might not get the cultural reference, late night TV broadcast by academics with received pronunciations. That'll be very posh. And wearing kipper ties. OU's famous for that. Okay, so that's got to go. So the short answer is we have to respond in a designerly way and thinking about this using the methods of design. So design looking at where we are, what we do, situations people are in, why they're like that, and then being imaginative, so critical and creative, thinking about how we can do this differently.
Nice. Luke told me that there is a specific app or website that you drop some of your voices into it, and then this AI could create another you.
Yeah. So 11
and then you can let the app do
Yeah.
a podcast using your own voice,
Well, so 11 Labs will do that, which is one that I play
Exactly,
with.
that's
Except for I don't
website.
use my own voice because who wants to listen to me? I'm sorry, listeners, but I don't have the most beautiful voice. In fact, I use somebody with a much more beautiful voice than me. And she's Lily. She's fantastic. She sounds like a BBC radio person, which is kind of, actually that choice, is that good that I'm choosing?
I
it
don't
and
think
kind
so. I really don't think.
of
And
reproducing past bias?
and I think this will cause a lot of huge problems. How can you tell that this video is telling the truth, Back in China nowadays, some of the people, they are using AI to sell some commodities or products. How can the customers tell which is real product, which is the real, person selling all this information?
So, but there is something interesting happening with this. Alarming is interesting. We'll see where it goes. So I was at a meeting. It was a dinner in London recently. I can't say too much about it because it's very confidential. But there were creative industry educators from across the country, universities represented there, and me. So top people and me.
Top people, including you.
So AI industry convened this and paid for this very expensive dinner. It's quite nice food. Location in London. And the AI industry people are kind of wanting to show off their amazing AI and expecting us all to be going, wow, yeah, AI is amazing. And we're all there kind of going, yeah, but the kids don't want it. They're actually disconnecting. And, not only are they not using AI, but actually they're doing stuff analog, which can't be captured by AI. So they don't want to be parasitized by big tech. Yeah, and they want time and space to hone their creative abilities in the physical world. And the problem we need big tech to help us with isn't being able to do special effects faster and cheaper. It's actually creating opportunities for young people and older people, young people especially, to learn their craft. There are no venues for them. Where can they play rock and roll? There would be no Beatles now for AI to parasitize. It will reach a dead end of zero creativity because there's no opportunities for people to actually do that rough stuff and have that. Music is about character. Great music is about character. It's about hearing the character. You get the character over years. The Beatles didn't get that instantly. It took them years to get that. Then AI comes along and parasitizes it, but eventually they will run out of stuff to feed into it, and it will just be the same rubbish. So that's what's going on, and it's like the young people have kind of realized that there's a new kind of panopticon, a new kind of surveillance system in there watching them all the time and sucking away their creativity to make money elsewhere. And it's switched off.
So based on what you've just discussed, interdisciplinary curriculum design is very important for universities, right? And you've been doing this for years, right?
Transdisciplinary and also transmedium as well. So doing this not in a kind of monoculture of academic technique or style, but actually using lots of different media as well.
Yeah, can you share the teaching experience that you've done in the past like 3 or 2 years?
Yeah, so actually in design, quite a lot of the effort has been put into enriching how students engage with the world around them, the environment, what we call developing advanced situational awareness. So you're seeing all the different, noticing stuff, for example, in this room, which is very echoey, a lot of people will go into rooms and not really notice the sound characteristics or the textures, and then how all of those things contribute to create the situation. And standing back and thinking critically about that, critically about what people are doing together and how they're collaborating. So it's not just kind of physical stuff, but it's also interhuman.
Interactive, right?
And getting that and actually having a rich picture. Picture is the wrong word because that's just visual. It's multisensory, a rich experience. So, and then being able to think critically about that. Why is it like that? How did it get to be like that? What effect does that have? How does that shape us as humans and what we hope to do and limit what we can do? And then to think creatively. So you've got to then start playing with that. And again, that first bit, you need science, you need art, you need aesthetics, you need all of these bits together because you want to understand the physical properties of things, but also the aesthetic properties. You need psychology, sociology, all of that needs to be the richer, the better. Which is why actually out in industry, people are trying to assemble teams that have all of that capability to understand. Car design, for example, getting all of those bits to understand how they all work together, what matters, and noticing small things that make a big difference. Then the creative side is getting playful, being prepared to take risks, create prototypes, test them out. Tom Kelly, get the right Kelly. So there's 2 famous designers, they're brothers, David and Tom. Often get them mixed up. I think it's Tom Kelly coined the phrase prototyping is the shorthand of design. So make stuff, play with it, see what it inspires, and go with it. Yeah, that's what we've been trying to do. It's a bit of a battle against an education system that kind of isn't about noticing how things are in a real situation and doing that in a multi or transdisciplinary way, multi-sensory way, and isn't about taking risks and being creative. So that's hard. But we've developed techniques like, for example, early on, having physical theatre and having really amazing physical theatre performers leaders, a company called Highly Sprung Performance, which is a local company getting them in maybe week 1, week 2, and doing a physical theatre.
Yeah.
In a theatre kind of space without chairs and tables, so you're not sitting down and hiding behind your laptop screen. You're up there interacting, and it's physical, multisensory, and also then creative. Getting people to come up with ideas fast and be prepared to break them. Getting into the kind of mindset of not being offended if your idea goes wrong and it breaks quickly, or somebody comes along and changes it completely. That kind of free flowing, doing that early on, that's important. And also, as we're doing that, constantly kind of moving between the big picture, reflection of what we're doing, where we're going, how this relates to zooming in on being playful with the detail. And that's just transformative, and the students have constantly fed back to us to say this makes enormous difference to them. It totally changes, it reframes what they're doing. We have what's called frame innovation, and using art to do that. Another great thing I saw recently was, I wish I could remember the details of this if I quickly load up my photo library, and I will be able to find it very quickly. Seconds, maybe I can. Here we go. So Balraj Khana, a curriculum canvas called Real Centre of the Universe, and it's kind of an imaginary map. It's a psychogeography thing from his perspective, a map of London and what matters to him or her. I think it's a him. With Lord's Cricket Ground is almost at the centre, and it's kind of like a psychogeographic map of the city. And this is actually, really an important thing that people are interested in, reframing geography, creating a new frame, the frame being the personal experience of it, as opposed to the kind of technical, legalistic cartography of drawing up boundaries and saying who owns what. Because actually, ultimately, in a city, we all own things in different ways. We invest our life in it. For example, the Lord's Cricket Ground would be valueless if it wasn't for all of the effort that people put in going to games and cheering and supporting, etc.
By doing all this kind of interdisciplinary module teaching, it's kind of a little bit far away from its evaluation system, right?
It's scary.
Right.
Yeah, and it's really challenging. I don't have the answers to this, because one of the things we most worry about is that assessment gets in the way of learning. We know that students can be very strategic, and there's a very good book called How I Got My First Class Degree, in which it's stories from people reflecting on how they got their first class degree and how incredibly strategic and instrumental they had to be to do that. So they had to kind of put aside learning and think, okay, so how do I just get grades?
That's why, even though a lot of universities are providing students a lot of interesting new modules, but still, how many people would really get interested in it? Right?
So, ticking the boxes for them when we don't want them ticking boxes. Let's do a current plausibility thing here and think about, if we leave it as it is, what will the world be like in 20 years' time? So there's going to be lots of people who are graduating over the next few years with they might have a first-class degree, it might look amazing, they've ticked all the boxes, and they've not really learned anything. They've not changed. They're not on the track to lifelong development and becoming a great person.
But they even didn't realize by
20 years
themselves.
Time, 20 years, so they need to be thinking, what's it going to be like in 20 years' time, or so maybe 10 years' time, when AI is replacing all those jobs that they thought they were going to do. When there are no lawyers because it's all processed. Okay. And those students who spent time building that creative, critical, and creative capability in themselves to do amazing stuff and to be flexible as well, and to grow and be constantly creative, they're going to be looking and going, yeah, but I can do cool stuff anyway. Don't forget about the AI. I'm just going to invent something totally new. Let's create an entirely new kind of activity that people are going to want to do. And they will do it. And we see people doing that already who haven't got degrees. They could be doing it much bigger, much more effective, much more excitingly if they did have a good degree. And the arts can contribute to that. But there is a very strong chance that the business model, the basic approach that we have here in the university could be obsolete very, very quickly if we don't recognise that AI is going to do all that stuff, all that crap. And actually, there's a whole load of other stuff that is much more important that we need to focus on. So, study theatre.
Really?
Study theatre. Creative
Really?
writing.
Really?
Writing. Yeah. Our creative writing students, for example, are incredibly entrepreneurial. And they're taught to be entrepreneurial. So I've been in on their workshops where they're learning to be entrepreneurial. And they're learning to be innovative. So, for example, last one I went to, David Morley, the professor of poetry, was telling the students about how in the past few years, some of his students had put together filmmaking and poetry and created a whole new thing.
Wow.
Which is really
I really should go because I did creative playwriting in Shanghai Tech University each year. I really should steal some techniques from him.
So they're thinking, they're not just kind of thinking forwards to what people will want in the future. They're making new wants. They're creating the desire.
By combining all different kinds of elements, right?
Yeah, and doing them in totally unexpected ways to create something exciting that you can feel. You can literally feel the buzz of this kind of new, kind of exciting, which is what people desire. We're all bored with the web already. It's crap. Facebook, it's just relentlessly bad.
I haven't used Facebook for years.
Yeah. And the emergence of yet another social network system or whatever, another one, and they're kind of arriving and disappearing faster.
Yeah.
So there's no future.
Yeah, I think TikTok has been popular here for several years. Maybe like in 5 years, another app would come up, right?
It's people are just kind of no more. Okay, I just want to So, I mean, you don't even really see this because quite a lot of people are just switching off and going and doing their own thing. They don't care. Just do it. I don't use social media much anymore. I used to enjoy Twitter greatly.
But nowadays, no.
It's gone bad. It's gone bad.
After Elon Musk has taken over it, right?
Now my addiction is, fucking addiction.
But still, I see a lot of people, post loads of Twitter every day.
Into the void. It's kind of just habit now. It's getting meaningless. And you've got organisations who are still posting on Twitter and like, who is taking any notice of this anymore? I can have more of a fulfilling and impactful interaction just randomly going out and meeting people and talking to them on the bus, which is one of the things.
You are the person. Yeah, you are this type. Yeah.
Go onto the bus and talk to people. And they're kind of like, no, I can't go on the bus and talk to people. That's terrifying. But yeah, you just go on the bus or get out and go backpacking and see what the world is like. I mean, that's yeah. Are they still doing that? Do people still go backpacking? I'm hoping to make my children go away. Not in a bad way, but with backpacks and interrail parties.
Leave me alone, right?
Just get out there. Go, explore, roam.
But I think, Robert, you are a person who is full of passion, enthusiasm, and I suppose that's the main reason that you are running loads of podcast channels these days.
Oh, I'm just enjoying the dialogue.
Right?
That's great. Yeah.
And I'm really curious about what inspired you to start this interval, what's your plan for the next podcast episodes?
It's really odd because I started to encourage and support podcasting at Warwick in around 2008, maybe.
8?
A very long time ago.
Okay.
We were doing things like we ran a podcast competition for departments in which we gave away MP3 recorders across the university. And we had an active, so back in those days before Spotify and Apple Podcasts, there was Apple iTunes University, which was a podcast host, and we were very active on that as a university. But I never actually did my own podcasting. I don't know why.
I think probably back then, personal branding is not that popular these days, days.
Yeah, but I don't brand these personally. They're not me. And actually, my ultimate goal for all 3 podcasts, we've got We Are FAB People, about the people in the Faculty of Arts, an Earful of DAHL, about digital arts and humanities technology, and museum explorations. My ultimate aim for those is for them to be taken over by students.
Oh, I see, yeah.
And also to develop students with the ability to do them well. I do enjoy a good part. I prefer being interviewed on a podcast than actually doing it, but I love the conversation. And the other thing that's kind of returned was the technology. So the ability to take some nice DJI mini mics out to a location like a museum and just sit with a curator in a busy museum and get good quality audio and then dial down the background noise just to the right level so you know it's still busy. Stuff like that, being able to be on location, talking about artifacts, walking around. And being able to do that as a one-person production unit as well. Be nice if I had more people, but it just makes it so easy. I don't know why I didn't do it for so long, considering that dialogue, academic dialogue, cultural, social, all that, this stuff, it's just part of the philosophy way.
Yeah.
Not in a Socratic way, which was a bit mean, but in a kind of very open, free, friendly, encouraging way. Actually, I know I do have friends who have done a lot of radio for and podcasting.
Ooh, that's fancy.
And they're very inspiring. So the philosopher Angie Hobbs, for example, and In Our Time, which is a Radio 4 program where they get some academics together in a room and for an hour. Is it an hour? Sometimes longer. They discuss a topic.
In my mind, BBC4 is like a drama channel, right?
Radio 4.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Radio 4.
Was the last bastion of civilization. Sadly, losing its.
I haven't listened to it for a long time, but used to listen quite often. Yeah.
I mean, the other thing I really, really enjoy is radio comedy, and that's another thing where I'm kind of thinking I should have done this a long time
ago. Are there any projects or ideas that you haven't yet implemented but are particularly eager to pursue in the future?
Yeah, so there's some kind of place exploration stuff community stuff that I want to do with mobile apps, and I've got my my 14-year-old son is working on that because I no longer have time to actually do any programming, but he can do it. So there's a thing around that. And if one is an idea that we had, that I had a long time ago, and people thought, oh, that sounds kind of fits with the university. And that, at the time, we were calling it Question Builder. So it was around not answering questions, but asking good questions.
I think asking good questions is a skill you need to learn, right?
Yeah, developing. So within, obviously, I've, in kind of PhD context, then in some disciplines, they put quite a lot of effort into asking a research question, formulating exactly the right research question. But yeah, coming up with good questions.
That's very important.
Collectively thinking about the quality of those questions and then sharing them. That would be an interesting thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think you need to do a training courses for us, because I've heard enough silly questions during conference from PhD students. I'm like, enough.
Well, yeah.
Please raise some good questions, okay, bro?
I did hear a really, really good professor a couple of days ago, last week, at a conference, and she was very nice. She put her hand up, and then she said straight, okay, I'll admit this isn't a question, I'm just going to make a point. Yeah. If more people, especially in philosophy, would say, I'm not asking you a question, but I'm just saying what my opinion is in relation to what you're saying. And be clear about that. I wish they're often not. So they're asking a question because they're just making a point rather than asking a question.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So stuff like that. Another one is an app for tracking the kind of multi-sensory aspects of a situation and people's experience. So kind of ways of giving us kind of better information about people's experiences as they're doing it.
That's your plan for the next years.
What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing next. What was it? Is it lunchtime yet? No, I'm getting old, and I just go from meal to meal now. That's all I've got to look forward to.
Yeah, not planned for a long time, but let's see, right? Let's see what will happen.
I'm also going to Namibia twice next year, but the first time I'm going on my own, motorcycling and visiting cultural institutions and museums and stuff. So I want to sort of get an international dimension to some of the things I'm doing. And Southern Africa I know well, and it's a very interesting place. If I don't get eaten by a lion or drowned in a flooded river crossing or something. So this may be my last podcast I make.
Oh, enough, right? Enough. Yeah, too busy man. But very nice to talk with you, Robert. And
thank you as always.
Thanks for your insightful sharing with me and with our listeners. Thank you, Robert. And thanks for your time and contribution. See you next time. Bye.
Goodbye.